Need to. Hello and welcome to the Yeg Show. My name is Tia Diemo, and I'm excited to join you on the show tonight. So there was this anxiety yesterday and all week about today being a major snow day, the first snow of the year. And in Asian culture, South Korean specifically, on the first day snows, that's the day you find love, etc. But today it was just flurries. I was expecting like the bucket full of snow. Were you disappointed that it didn't snow big time? Were you just waiting to be engulfed in a sea of white, and that didn't happen? So I'm a bit disappointed because I love Alberta because of the snow. You come to live in this province because of the snow. So without the snow, we have something even better. His name is Garth Prince. You probably know him. He's a Namibian Canadian. He's a vocal performer with years of experience in promoting African culture and community through song. Tonight we'll be talking about his book, Grazing. He's been recognized as a role model by the Edmonton Arts Council and the National Black Coalition of Canada and the Black Canadian Awards. And he continues to build a bridge between Western and African musical traditions. He's married with 2 children. I like to invite my guest now to come on the show. Hello, Garth. Thanks
Hi.
for joining us.
Hello.
How did you get into music?
Oh, how did I get into music? So, I mean, I grew up in Namibia. Well, for most of my life until I was about 26. So that's where I lived. And I guess as a kid in Namibia, I feel like almost everybody is a musician. Everybody can sing. That's what it's like. Everybody can make music. So it was just part of kind of what was around me and what was on television and everything. But I guess when my career got more serious was when I joined a youth choir when I was about 15 years old, and I ended up singing with that choir until pretty much the day I left Namibia. So I sang with them for 10, 11 years. Yeah.
So if you were to describe your life so far to a complete stranger, someone who did not know, who's never heard of Garth before, how would you describe yourself?
So, in Canada we have this thing we have a genre of music called children's music, right? But as us who have lived in Namibia and other parts of Africa, we know that it's in our cultures the music is just the whole community shares the same music. There's no music for children, music for older, everybody. It's all the same music. So my music is basically Namibian and other Southern African folk music, and I try to present it in a way so that Western audiences can really understand it and feel it. So how do I do that? Not just by performing, but also by doing interactive things, by teaching basic dances and that sort of thing. So that's how I would describe it, and that lends itself really well to the education field. So now, because of the way I've done my shows over the years, that interactive component, I eventually got asked to do school shows. So I do a lot of school shows. That's kind of the main thing. Like usually I was fully booked. So like last season, I was fully booked performing in different schools and teaching kids basic folk songs and some original songs.
Were you disappointed about the no-show snow today?
About the snow, you know what? It's really strange for me because I just this is very space I'm in right now. I used, like I said, I used to go from school to school, so I traveled a lot, right? So this is my first season because of COVID. I'm not allowed to travel into schools like I used to.
Oh.
But what's taking off for me, and today I did two of them. I'm now doing in this very space that you see here. I'm doing sort of a mixture of a concert and teaching for schools. So that's what I do. So I don't actually go outside. So it didn't really affect me so much, I would say. But in general, I was
We lost your audio there, Garth. Do you want to check your connection again?
there we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I'm sorry about that. I'm not quite sure what happened.
I think we lost some sound. I'm just gonna try to
Okay. You're still your mic is still muted. Your mic is not connected. No.
How about now?
Yes, much better. What are you not doing right? What's going on?
I did it all. I did, you know the thing that fixes everything, right? I pulled it out and I put it back in. That's what
That's you just a little bit loose, okay? And that's
Yeah.
fine. It's meant to be the cold day today, but
Yeah.
the winter. How important do you think is songs to African culture? Because your job in our community is to merge Canadian and African. How important is song and dance in trying to explain African culture in a Canadian setting?
That's something that I guess every African country and every region is different. But I would say music is maybe in the top 5 most important things in many different African countries. So I've traveled quite a little bit in Africa as well. The love for music, and I wouldn't use even the word love. I would say like the passion for music is just. I think it's something that sets us apart as, I wouldn't say only as Africans, but I would say as Black people. That's something that I think we have in common. Like it's just something that we're passionate about and that we love. I think it's like a characteristic of basically of ours, I think.
Understand song and dance is really important when you're trying to pass on a legacy, an African legacy to kids who have been born and brought up here in Canada. I'm just wondering how important is what you do in passing on that African message to children of the next generation.
Well, I think when I started, that wasn't my intention. I wasn't thinking about it from that standpoint. It was pure selfishness, when I first when I first started, because for me, not being able to be immersed in the music, for example, the choir that I sang in, and as well as I was a performer back home in Namibia, not being able to do that. It drove me sort of to a point where I felt really low and almost into depression for some years. So I felt like I had to do something. I had to do it, and I did it mainly for myself. I started singing the music from back home for that very reason, and I think I just wanted to sing for whoever would listen. It didn't matter to me who it would be. But now that I've been doing this for 7-8 years, something that stands out for me is when I go to a school and I perform, there's always the African parents that come and talk to me after, or the children, right? And they just haven't had an opportunity to have their music or culture really showcased. And it's kind of like been put in a box for 5-6 years. So what I started to do is I started to say, well, I'm not going to just sing, songs from Namibia. I'm going to sing maybe a song from Kenya, maybe a song from here, to try to make it sort of more diverse what I do, because it wasn't my intention to do so. But if I'm the one who has the job to go into the schools and sing, then it's also now it's a responsibility to really boost the spirits of the African community and the children and the families, right? So
Yeah,
I
well,
try that. Yeah.
of course. Sorry about that, guy. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, it's
Wait,
all good.
behind you, I can see some African drums. Would you
Oh
mind,
yeah.
grabbing
Showing
one?
you
I can keep playing me. There's an
what- I've
instrument
got.
there. Are you
Okay.
allowed to do that? Can you do that?
Yeah. So this is something that I use mainly for teaching, right?
Okay.
As a teaching tool. Now, the funny thing is, Southern Africans, the what's unique about Southern African music is the vocals, the singing.
Ah,
So
mhm.
if you think of a South African choir, there's
Oh,
almost no drumming, right? It's just that singing. The singing is so important. But the funny thing was, the Canadians, when they think of African music, they just think of drumming. So so when I first came here and I was trying to tell the schools I do music, and performances, they kept saying drumming, and I kept saying I'm not talking about drumming, I'm talking about singing, and they kept saying, oh, so you must mean drumming, it's African music. I'm saying, no, that's not African music. So this went on for many years, and one day somebody just asked me, can you do a drumming workshop? And I was really tired of it, and I said, sure, I'll do it. But my years of singing translated very easily to the drums, so I use it to keep the kids on the same beat when I'm teaching them singing. So that's the main tool, but it's evolved. So now I also teach basic like drumming circles and groups and things as well from that.
When I saw the drums, but don't no, just hold on through one quick second. It reminded me of my West African background. Is that what is called the talking drum? Because the sound that comes out of it is very.
I'm wondering if you'd be able to hear it, because if I
can
put
hear
it,
it. Go
okay.
for it.
Right? Can you hear
Yeah, absolutely. Reminds me of back home when we do celebrations, funerals, memorials, and then the ancient people will come with their drums, and then people will
that?
go into a frenzy dancing. I mean,
Yeah.
people will just get into a frenzy dancing around that drum. So,
So
a
the
lot
drum is more West African, right? So it's
oh
where
yeah,
it comes
oh,
from. It's more from there.
oh
And
yeah,
we Namibians, as kids, we couldn't afford drums because you think of it, it's kind of like it would be imported, right? From from West Africa, which is north for us. I'm from Southwest.
right,
So it
right.
would be imported. So the only people, actually, it's kind of funny for me, when I was growing up, the only person who had a drum would be a rich white person. So
Oh
I
no,
learned to drum on a desk, like on my desks. Like this, as kids, you had school desks,
yeah,
you just drum, and we drum on anything that we can find. And in our rural communities, they would make these drums, not as nice as the West African drums by far, not as nice as these ones that are they're called djembes here, but
oh,
they're not as nice, but they were okay, and they would usually be one drum for the entire community. So maybe 50, 60 people in a small farming community, and the drum was used to communicate things because it's louder than a voice. So they had certain rhythms they played when everybody had to come together, certain rhythms they play when it was dancing time, and that could be played, but then everybody else would clap. We our tradition is very much a clapping, clap, clap, clap. So we would
oh,
clap the beat, and we would sing over the beat, and then we would dance like in the circle.
mm,
That's kind of like us. And so the drum played a lesser role,
mm.
but the West African have really spread that as almost like the flagship instrument of Africa. So I couldn't escape it. So so it's more for my own learning that I do it now as well, and then to help use it as a tool as well.
Well, I mean, it's pretty awesome. I left Nigeria about 20 years ago, something like that. But I have my memories of the talking drum, of the drum. It evokes something within me, and I'm just so happy to see almost every house, had it, but not everybody could play it. You see, because there's a system to the way you hit it. There's a special kind of magic that very few hands could evoke.
Yeah, I actually thought, like, because I was in the choir, I was a very strong singer, and I was a very bad dancer. So that's in Africa, it's a something you'll get teased over like for years if you cannot dance. So in my choir, I was not actually allowed to play the drum. So I didn't actually know. So in my mind, I thought that I could not play. I thought that I was one of the people that should never play. So that's why I was really offended when people kept asking me if I could drum here. But the funny enough, when I picked up the drum, though, I finally did, just at home. My wife actually got one of the drums as a touring African musician was here and had to go back, but he had to pay to ship the drums with him back, so he sold it for cheap here to the schools. So my wife came home to this drum one day, and I was asking her too about this drum, and I said, "Do you think all Africans can drum?" Is it? And she said, "No, it was really a good price." And so the drum was here for almost a year, like before I played it one day.
Yeah. Now sorry, go on.
I picked it up. I played, and I found it so strange because I've been taking piano lessons for many years, and it took me 10 times faster to learn the drum than anything else I've ever touched, like any instrument, anything. I picked it up and I would listen to any song, maybe on the radio or a song I was thinking about. I could play it immediately. And I said, "Oh, I should have tried. So I wish I tried it so many years ago."
African, Garth, I have to say that, it comes easy to some. Behind you is another instrument that you've got in Play Me. What is that instrument?
Sure. Okay. That's a joke for conferences.
Oh, okay.
I take it to conferences, but this is a xylophone.
All right.
Now, let me see if I have the sticks. I'm grabbing the sticks for you.
Right.
So you can see.
And for those watching, we did not plan this. Okay, so this.
Yeah, I did. I didn't plan this at all. Okay, that's good. Just give me a second. I'll grab this one. So this is let's see. Here we are, right?
Yeah, go for it.
Wow, there's just a little taste for you.
I was already boogieing down.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs to play too. And there's two parts, right? So the other one goes doom ba doom ba doom ba doom, and you gotta have that doom ba doom. So you play this one, and you play that other one. Oh my goodness, that's what I do. I teach kids to play that, and once they get it, you should see the Canadian kids when the beat locks in like that and they get it. It's just wow. They just say, "Whoa, this is music. I like music."
I have to confess, in a different lifetime, I used to learn to play the saxophone, and then also worked as a teacher before coming here. So in that life, I got the music director, the head of music at the school I worked in. So I was gonna play the sax, and it was so beautiful. It was on the grand piano in the hall, and I was playing the sax, and it was so beautiful. Just that feeling that we're making music together. I'd never experienced anything so beautiful. I nearly kissed the guy. That was intense. So I know what you're talking about. Now, you have been recognized by the Edmonton Arts Council, the National Black Coalition of Canada, and the Black Canadian Awards
Yeah.
as a role model, as an amazing Canadian. How does that make you feel?
It feels good, what I'm doing, I have to be very honest with you here, it's a little bit of an emotional moment to talk about this in particular, but I felt like when I was in Namibia, there was a big change happening in the music industry where I would almost say it was becoming political, right? So music only from certain traditions were being boosted, kind of by the population and the government. And I have very much had an approach to try to sing music from all the different sort of groups from within the country. So I always felt like I wasn't fully recognized for what I was doing when I was in Namibia, and when I came to Canada, I didn't expect to be recognized here for what I was doing. I just thought if you're an artist, you hustle by yourself. That's that's what you do. You hustle, you do your own thing, and you work hard. You do your shows, and you go home, and that's just the grind. Call it the grind.
Wow.
But when I came here, I did some grant applications for an idea for a CD. This was like 2011, 2012. So I'd been here maybe 3 years. And I sent that to the Edmonton Arts Council. And in Namibia, I had this thing of like, you had to know someone if you if you sent in an application. Otherwise, you'll never hear from them. So I guess I didn't expect it, right? So when the Edmonton Arts Council contacted me and they let me know that that your support material, the music you're making, this is good. We can support you. That was really the beginning of everything. And I guess I never really looked back. Like from there, I don't really think about it too much. I just, it's not something I think about. It's just, I'm more excited about, like you said, that moment you felt like the music, how it feels. That is more, it's something I look forward to more than like maybe being recognized or something. I like to get recognized because then I can spread what I'm doing to more people. So if I get recognized for something, I just think, okay, well, how can I let more, like maybe this will put me in a different audience of people who maybe the supporters of the Canadian Black Awards or something. Maybe they can see me through this recognition, and they can say, hey, can you do a workshop for my kid's school? and off. So that's, I guess, how I've been taking it.
I'm happy you've been recognized by your peers here in Canada. It means a lot to be recognized by peers in the city where you are. And I suppose that sums up the majority of African experience. Most of us are better recognized here in Canada than wherever it is we've come from. For viewers who may not have heard your songs before, I'm going to play some of your work, and then we're going to talk about how you compose such incredible music. So just bear with me. I'm going to share my screen right now.
I'm just so I see. I was wondering which music you were gonna play. So
this should come. This is from your website, and what I'm going to do, I'm meant to go back. If it allows me to. Oh dear.
I think if you just press that little circle thing to replay it on the bottom
somewhere, like
on the bottom left of that thing.
Oh yeah, got it. Okay, the thing is just not pressing. Oh dear, I do prep this.
This is my day every day. Sharing these videos and stuff. I'm like, oh, I gotta turn that video off, otherwise another video is gonna play afterwards.
What's happened now? Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and then I will try it again because I've got it here. Just bear with me, please. Okay, so this is probably what I should have done. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Garth Prince. Yes, so listen up. Go with is on the fire. Can't wait to see the flames light up the night and smell the sweetness swimming through the air. You know that there was more than enough to share. Supper! Hey, hey, hey! Supper! Then we spread the word. The message goes until everyone has heard. As simply as we gather here to eat, good feeling flow like water through the streets. So we say, Mama, Papa, Sister, Wena, Africa, America. Mothers and children gather round for this tradition. Yes, to Bella, Jumbo, Soweto. Just around the fire, we are one. Brothers and sisters, yes. Oh, well, well,
Stop it! Sorry, that song so funny.
Actually, I'm gonna play it.
No, don't play that song. I have nothing against the song. It's just
I love it.
Albertan. This is like an Albertan song for me.
I love the track. I love the composition, everything.
Yes.
That was really nice, though.
I'm from a country called Namibia, which is
just keeps
north
going.
of South Africa.
What did I do?
And I
You
moved
gotta,
to
you gotta close that thing. Okay.
I
I told you that's a joke. I told you that happens to me all the time. So I play like a video, and I'm like, oh, I'm done sharing it, but then the video keeps playing. That happens to me. I'm still figuring out like this, because I'm doing sessions now with children, like just like from home, like this as well. But the most important thing in that video for me is all those white people playing that African music.
How did you get a diverse band together?
Yeah.
You find them?
Yes. When I first came to Edmonton, I have to tell you this story. I was looking for African musicians. That was my first idea. Like, I gotta find musicians. So this was now maybe 10 years ago. I bet you if I did it, if I moved here today, I would have been able to find. There's actually a lot of musicians who moved from Africa to Edmonton now, but 10 years ago there weren't too many. There was maybe one or two. So I had to say to myself, you know what, I can't just look for people who can already play African music. And I said, I'm going to have to find people who are willing to work with me, and the thing I was looking for was just, a lot of times if, I've got some white friends, and a lot of times if you are in a working relationship with someone who's white, it's not all the time. It's not everybody. So this is definitely not directed at anyone in particular. But sometimes, like, white people might have a hard time, I guess, learning from, especially if an example would be if they're already consider themselves an expert musician. Okay, let's say they're an expert drummer, for example, and I have to come and say no. To play African music, you have to change this and you have to do this, and can you do this for me? So, the word I was looking for is coachable,
Oh.
So these musicians, before I even studied music, so we weren't speaking the same language. We were, I was trying to explain things, and I was using like goompa doompa, that's what I was doing to try to explain. But they were so patient, to really find what I was trying to say, and they were so passionate of trying to play the music the way that I envisioned it, and we spent hours until I was every rehearsal it was like, until I was at a point where I said, that makes me feel like I'm back home. That's how we did our rehearsals. So, and some moments, I would just get quiet. I don't know if they noticed, I see some of them actually watching. One of them messaged me, the drummer is watching too. But some moments I never told him, but some moments I got really quiet during our rehearsals, because I just felt like I was back home. Like I was, in Namibia, standing in a club or something back home, and listening to music. So that's kind of how coachable they were. They really allowed me to do that. And then I also wanted to improve my communication with them, so I went and studied music at McEwen, so jazz, vocal jazz, and I learned a little bit more to communicate with them, and so that's how we got to that sound that you hear there. And I always get congratulated from the Africans in the audience. They always say, what's going on here? What's going on? Like, this sounds like an African, fully like a band that basically grew up in Africa. And I say, no, we just spent a lot of time together. That's how we got the sound. So I'm very thankful to them for allowing me to work with them like that. Yeah.
You've been distinguished by the society in so many ways through getting the grants, with the awards you've gotten, and now you've written a book.
Oh, yes. So, okay, the book. Yes, I almost forgot. That's one of the main reasons we're here. So the book, right, is really the tip of the iceberg, I have to say. The story of the book, where it really comes from, is this band, the same band that you hear there. I was on a stage with them. It wasn't at a school show. It was at I think it was, as one of these theaters or something. We were playing a show, and the show was full, and there's lots of people, and we were playing that show, and I looked back at the band, and I just said to myself, we need to record a CD. Like, we need to do a full album, because people need to be able to they need to be able to listen to this from start to finish. And so then I sat down and I said, okay, which songs am I going to put on the album? And I started building the album, the record, I'm making a full collection of, like, these are my favorite songs. And then I knew that it would be a good idea to put this in what we call the children's market, because cultural music here, a lot of regular Canadian families, in terms of when it comes to cultural experiences, that's something they love to share with their children. So I said, the music is clean, it's got an uplifting message already, so let's make it a children's album. But like I said, in Africa, this music doesn't really, it's not really children's music, it's just music. But I wanted an amazing way to start the record. And I spent, a few months thinking about, if I was to make an album and I'm going to put in, maybe 3 years of work, and I wanted the album to start in an amazing, like, just something that is completely amazing, what would I do? How would I start the album? Because I grew up listening to full albums, and there was always this amazing intro, in the beginning, something, just something that gets you into the full record, and listening to it. And so I got the idea of a story, because I'd been working with the Tolowa Molel, an author from Tanzania, and he lives here in Edmonton. And we had done a lot of collaboration before. So I approached him and I said, hey, how would you like to do something together? And so it's the collaboration between Tolowa and I that actually turned into a story / song, which as soon as we put it together, we knew it was going to be a book, because, you know, once we heard it, we recorded it with the band first and we did the audio, but as soon as we heard it back and the narration of the music and everything, we knew that people are going to want to see the pictures as well of this. And then we turned it into a children's book. So that's how we ended up here, you know, whereas like instead of just being sort of an artist doing an album, it's now, you know, I'm not the author. I have to make that clear, but it was my idea to do the book and to do it this way. So that's where we are. And I do have a draft copy here today.
Well, let's see it, Grazing.
Grazing Back Home is the name of the song and the name of the story. So this is where we ended up, and we were running a Kickstarter campaign to do pre-sales for the book, and so people could go and order. And I don't know if you saw the Kickstarter campaign recently, but within 2 weeks, the Kickstarter campaign reached its goal. So it was fully funded. And so I've gotten people from basically all over the world that they kind of get it, because we made a small video that shows the process. Like, how did we talked about each of us. So the author spoke about his involvement in the project. I spoke a little bit about myself, and then we played a little bit of the story and the narration. We played a little bit of it, and that's all we shared with people. And it was enough for people to say, this is a nice project. It's important. We want to get behind it. So we have like 8 days left. So people are still able to order it through the Kickstarter campaign, which means they'll get it before it comes out on November 20th, at which point it'll be available on like Amazon and blah, 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 you know, those other things. Yeah. So that's it in a nutshell, unless you have questions.
Well, let's see the book again. So people can pre-order the book,
Yes.
Grazing Back Home. It's on Amazon.com, Amazon.ca. You can pre-order it before it's
it's on Kickstarter. So if they go to my website, garthprince.com, so just my name, if you Google my name, then my website comes up, garthprince.com. Then right on the front page, there's the Kickstarter campaign is there. Okay. And you'll see it. It's right now, last I checked, it's at 107% funded. So we've gone over our goal. Our goal is to raise enough money to print enough books for us to be able to sell. We needed $7,500, and so we're beyond 8,000 now in sales already. Wow. So we look forward to just really sharing it with the people who ordered the book, and also sharing it with just really anybody, right? Like who wants something unique.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, I've done many of these media chats. You know, I have to say this one has been really special, because not all my guests are authors. Not all of them can sing. Not all of them can create the heavenly harmony that you are able to whip up with your divine skills from Namibia. And I want to say thank you so much for coming on to the show. I'm just going to let our guests know again, they can pre-order your book on garthprince.com. I've put that there, and we hope that this chat gets you the much needed profit from your book. So you've broken even at 7.5, you're at 8,000. Anything more than that will be profit. And I hope you get
it'll be wonderful.
So for those watching, Friday Night with Mr. Maiden is on this network at 8 p.m. Don't go away. We'll see you at 8 with Mr. Maiden. And to Garth, thank you so much. Thank you.
For having me.
We're out of time now. We've overrun, but that was a really good interview, and I appreciate your taking the time to share some of your music, your heart, your love with us. Thank you again for coming on the show. See you guys at 8 p.m. with Friday Night with Mr. Maiden. Thanks for watching. Please like and share.